did put this up today, so whoever would like to respond to this, that would be good. And it was after I saw something that Ruth Bader Ginsburg has said. She said, I was here at the right time, while Pauli was ahead of the time when society wasn't really willing to listen. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's true?
Absolutely. I mean, it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg who actually alerted us to Pauli Murray's story. We knew that RBG had put Pauli's name on the cover of the first brief that she wrote for women's equality in, the early 1970s. And we took note of that. And after finishing the documentary, we thought, oh, who is this person? And discovered that not only had Pauli been way ahead of the times on feminism and women's legal theory, but also civil rights and labor rights. So many areas. We were blown away by Pauli's story and decided, let's try to make a documentary.
There are some people who now argue that you cannot teach American history without teaching about Pauli Murray.
Pauli was a writer, a lawyer, a priest, a poet. Pauli was a feisty woman.
Did anybody establish why history forgot her? Because you spent so much time looking at these archives and sharing with us, which is amazing.
Well, I think the closest we came to an answer for that was actually from a professor named Tina Liu, who happens to be the head of Pauli Murray College at Yale, who said, when you study history, as Professor Liu does, you come to understand that the most celebrated and most recognized figures are not necessarily the most amazing and the most important. Maybe the problem isn't just that we've glossed over or brushed past or ignored altogether Pauli Murray specifically. There's a larger problem that we're not always the key people. Often people who are way ahead of the curve, as RBG's quote suggests, are so far ahead of the curve that history's not ready for them yet.
And today it's really interesting because my friend circle, we're all quite diverse. We're mixed, we're black, we're white, a bit of everybody in there. And we were saying, what's really nice? Having three different women together, we all, in a way, would be slightly different. Although the majority would be the same, there would be certain little tweaks that I think my experience would make me say, that's going to stay in. And my friend Sarah would say, that's going to stay in. Did you guys have those conversations as well?
Definitely. I mean, I will say that primarily, we were driven by Pauli's story, right? We had the advantage of Pauli's extensive archive and so many recordings, and so we were really led by what Pauli was moved by most. That said, we did have to make creative decisions, and we had to decide at the beginning, we can't include everything. There's no way we can tell all of Pauli's story. And so that launched a series of conversations about what to include and what we were each most moved by. And there were moments, I think, Betsy and Julie could also speak to this, where Cinquay Northern, who was our editor, who's also African-American, there were certain things that we were like, oh, this has to be in the film. And Betsy and Julie may have said, well, we don't totally get it, but we totally trust your instincts on this. We'll definitely keep that in.
But if this country is to survive, we must live together in harmony.
Pauli may not have realized they would be a beacon for so many folks.
Pauli's time had not come. We have to work for a world in which it does come.
You say, I can't, I'll show you I can, even if I die trying.
Ladies, Betsy and Julie, congratulations. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, what an incredible documentary. I absolutely loved it. And then you get to do something as wonderful as this. I just feel like you guys are so lucky as documentary makers.
Yeah, I mean, RBG at the time we started working on that film was really already having a major cultural moment. When we learned Pauli Murray's story, it just felt like, oh, but this is someone who needs to have a cultural historical moment. It's actually all kinds of interest in Pauli Murray has been bubbling up over the past 5 or 6 years. And I think we just wanted to be part of pushing that forward more.
And, the other thing I felt was that, as Talleah said, we had to leave out parts of Pauli's very, extensive life, so many chapters. But we really wanted to try to capture Pauli the person, Pauli's personality. what drove Pauli, what allowed Pauli in the face of all kinds of obstacles to keep going. And we were extremely lucky that Pauli had saved so many records, photographs, audio tapes of interviews, and then there was even a fantastic video interview that looks pretty crummy, but really gives you a sense of Pauli's centeredness, Pauli's joy, the beautiful smile, the determined typing on the typewriter and kind of, trying to discipline the beloved dog, a feeling that this is a real human being, not some sort of statue that we're going to elevate from history, but a person. And what motivated Pauli and allowed Pauli to accomplish so much.
My name is Pauli Murray. My whole history has been a struggle in a society dominated by the ideas that blacks were inferior to whites and women were inferior to men.
Pauli was way ahead of the times.
I chose for my senior paper, should Plessy versus Ferguson be overruled? My little argument went to the Supreme Court.
Y'all see all of the different folks that are in this room? That is made possible by Pauli Murray.
Our biggest dream is for Pauli to become a household name along the likes of a Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks. It's like Pauli really has had that kind of influence, and we hope that has that same sort of. We hope that Pauli has that same sort of recognition in the long run.
Congratulations, guys! Awesome job. Thank you for allowing me to discover an amazing person. Have a great day. So nice to see all your faces, and I'll probably tweet you again. Take care.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.